Browns beat the Cardinals 27-0 here at Cleveland Browns Stadium. They moved to 5-3 on the season. But of course, the big story today, Deshaun Watson making his return today, Mary Kay, making it through 4 quarters. We did see him stretch the field a little bit. We did see him take some hits. So all in all, at the very least, the Browns can feel good that their starting quarterback is back.
Yeah, and it couldn't come at a better time for them heading into that enormous game against the Baltimore Ravens next week. But he went out there, he made some long throws, one of 59, one of about 40, one of about 49. He made it through those. He absorbed some big blows. He ran around, he improvised, he threw 2 touchdown passes, had a rating over 100, and it was a great confidence booster for what's about to come.
Yeah, Ashley, it wasn't always perfect. It didn't always look pretty. But again, you just wanted to make it through a game with your starter and go into Baltimore week knowing we've got our guy back and we're going to be, I don't want to say full strength. We'll get to that in a little bit. But they're going to be close to full strength offensively going against the Ravens.
I really think the most important thing for Deshaun Watson in his next start post that Colts game was to just get through a game and be able to finish it. I really do, because I think had we had another situation here today that was like the Colts game where he had to be pulled because his performance was so bad or because he was re-injured or something like that, I think it would be really bad, like not just a bad look, but bad for his confidence potentially too. And that's what you don't want. So yeah, I mean, like Mary Kay said, there were a handful of mistakes. Like the first things for me that come to mind are the missed 4th and 3 conversion in the first quarter, that ball that he almost threw that was almost a pick, or that he threw that was almost a pick, I should say, in front of the Cardinals sidelines. But overall, I think it's most important that he just made it through today.
And he even got a bounce going his way. A ball that went off a helmet, got deflected in the air. Amari Cooper tracked it down for a touchdown. So everything kind of came the Browns' way today. Let's talk about this defense. What a performance. Of course, there's the 0 on the scoreboard, but 7 sacks, 3 turnovers. They absolutely shut down rookie quarterback Clayton Tune, Mary Kay, and this Cardinals offense.
They really did. And you know what? It almost wasn't a fair fight. While Joshua Dobbs, their other backup quarterback, was traded to Minnesota and he's up there winning a game, poor Clayton Tune was here getting just drilled and beat up on by the Cleveland Browns in his first NFL start. He was no match for the number 1 defense in the NFL. Myles Garrett, Dalvin Tomlinson, Z, all the dogs got to eat today with those 7 sacks, 2 interceptions, 1 by Denzel Ward, 1 by Sione Takitaki. So the defense really revved up today and had, the first shutout since 2007. It had been the second longest streak in the NFL. So, they were excited and happy about that. And now they have a quarterback back that can kind of match up with what they're doing.
Yeah, a little complimentary football. But Ashley, we talk about the quarterback, but it does feel like this defense, I don't know if getting their mojo back is going too far, but they did need to just sort of have a performance like this again.
I think so too. I don't think that that's too far, because the way some of those guys were talking in the locker room, I specifically kind of went around and talked to the interior D-line guys, and Mo Hurst was the one that brought up, and everyone agreed with him that when they watched film from the last couple of games, he said they saw things that were not part of their identity. They saw them taking plays off, which is not something that they want to be known for. So they really took the challenge today to play a complete game. And when they did, it felt like the floodgates opened, especially for those guys on the interior. 7 sacks for them as a team. 5 of them came from D tackles. 3 of them alone from Dalvin Tomlinson, which I think is a career high for him.
It is, actually. And I asked him after the game, what's the most sacks you've ever even had in a game in your football life? He said he thinks he had 3.5 in high school once. So this was a huge game for Dalvin. Now, the bad news, I said that this offense is almost at full strength. Of course, we know they don't have Nick Chubb. We know they don't have Jack Conklin. But now, Mary Kay, it looks like they'll be without Jedrick Wills. He was carted off the field with a leg injury, ruled out almost immediately with a knee injury, had an air cast on it. So things are not great for Jed Wills and him coming back this year.
No, it looked bad. I mean, you could just tell he was grimacing while he was on the field, when they put the air cast on, when they loaded him onto the cart. He was in obvious pain. His teammates were praying for him, wishing him well. We talked to some guys in the locker room afterwards. Dawand Jones said that's his best friend on the team. And, he said, I'm there for him, there for his family. Just the way they were talking sort of had a season-ending vibe to it. And think about this. That means that the Browns will have lost their starting right tackle this season in Jack Conklin, and potentially for the season their starting left tackle in Jed Wills. And for all the beating that Jed Wills has taken, he was really starting to play very well, especially in his pass blocking.
Yeah, he really was picking it up, Ashley. And so to kind of lose him now, it just means, you know, in the small picture, you don't have him this season, that hurts. But now in the big picture, I still don't know if you know exactly what Jed is going to be long term.
I know. I mean, I think that's so difficult because this was a really important year for him. And, you know, Dawand Jones has been fighting through something. And that kind of leads you. It's crazy to think that I think when they got Dawand Jones here, they're like, okay, this is going to be a developmental guy. And now all of a sudden, he's going to be your most reliable tackle out there because they do have James Hudson. They do have some guys on the practice squad, including, I know, Alex Leatherwood off the top of my head. But really, that tackle depth, I think, is going to continue to be a question. And we're going to have to see what they do.
Let me throw this one at you, Mary Kay. Dawand Jones, left tackle.
You know, I would seriously consider doing that. You have got to protect your $230 million investment at all costs. And if you just look ahead to the next two games, look at the kind of guys the Browns are going to be facing with Roquan Smith and Jadeveon Clowney, and then you've got TJ Watt, and you've got Cam Hayward. I mean, there's just some really good defenders coming up, and you've got to keep Deshaun healthy and safe.
Yeah, Ashley, it's outside the box, but maybe you got to think about it right now.
You know, Dan, I think you're onto something because about 30 minutes ago, I said to Mary Kay, hey, do you think that? What do you think about them possibly moving Dawand Jones over to left tackle? It was something I was thinking about right after the game because I think right now it might actually wind up being their best option. And Mary Kay, I know from you talking to Dawand, he wants to be a left tackle at some point. So I definitely think even though he's a rookie, he'd be up for that challenge and to help this offense if they need it from him.
I have a feeling we'll talk about that on our post-game podcast in a little bit, too. You can find that as well as everything else covering this game today. A big win by the Browns. They head to Baltimore next Sunday, all at cleveland.com/Browns.